Please welcome Joshua Lisec.
Good evening. Let's see if I can adjust this bad boy up here a little bit. I might just hold on to it. There, how's that? I need to hold on to it. Good evening, everyone. I recognize many faces. I have spent hours, days with many of you hearing your stories already. And I want to introduce my remarks this evening with a quote that many of you will unfortunately know. What did Pastor Carl Ruby say? That's right.
I knew there would be chaos. I just didn't know it would be this bad.
Yes, Carl Ruby said, I knew there was going to be chaos. I didn't know how bad it was going to be. I did. I went to Rice State University with a number of Haitian individuals, and I've had Haitians as clients over the years. And I'm a professional ghostwriter by trade. I've also often co-authored books. And I learned about Haitian culture, the Haitian worldview, the Haitian economy, Haitian history, a number of things. And I've learned that they have a very different experience of the world than your typical average Ohioan, okay? And when you bring thousands of people from a culture like that into a culture like this one, it is not unreasonable to think that there could be some clashes. We'll put it that way. I began hearing about a number of the issues that you good people were having in 2021, 22, 23. And when I would hear the stories and see the headlines, that were, shocking, and appalling. And I thought, that sounds about right. That's what I've heard from my Haitian clients and classmates over the years about what things are like back home in their country. That's no surprise to me. And then it's like the mainstream media was directly, how could you say that? How could you accuse them? You're how racist could you possibly be, they would say. And I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? I mean, this is not surprising, I would think. And I thought, I need to go. I just need to go. September 19th, 2024. My friend Tiffany Justice and Vivek Ramaswamy had a town hall here, and I went. And I never actually got inside. The line was so long, everyone wanted to get in the chair. And while I was in line, there were a number of podcasters and influencers and journalists and all manner of people who were wanting to interview all of us. And this is the origin story of the book, and this is the story that I tell in the preface. There is this wiry little fellow from Politico, rather high and nasally voice. I didn't get his name, and I don't know what happened to the recording. But he begins to interview me, and he kind of sets me up. And he mentions that there are all of these racist conspiracy theories that are being tossed about by the xenophobes and the bigots and whatnot of our kind. He's saying this to me. And then he asked me if I agree with that. So I thought, you're pre-accusing me, and we haven't even had this interview conversation. It's not even begun. What are we doing here? And then after insisting that it couldn't possibly be true, he says to me, in this nasal little voice, he goes, it's been debunked. It's all been debunked. And he repeats himself, it's been debunked. It's all been debunked. He goes like that. And I noticed something that stuck in my craw for years now. And that was, he used the passive voice, didn't he? He said, it's been debunked. Oh, it has it? I wondered to myself. Who's done the debunking? Is it you? I mean, he just drove in this afternoon. I don't think he's done any debunking. Has he spoken with Haitian individuals? Does he know anything about their culture, their way of life? Or what about Politico? No. It was presumed that nothing could possibly be true that you were saying. And that's when I began to notice a class issue between the cosmopolitan elites who saw themselves as the betters of a blue-collar, largely veteran, conservative, evangelical Christian, largely white community, seeing themselves as better and more sophisticated. And these are the people who speak about empathy and loving your neighbor, don't they say? Well, as Jack said, I have lived in the Dayton area my entire life. I love my neighbor, and my neighbor is Springfield. And that experience that I had with that little man in Politico, it did not sit right with me. And then earlier this year, I met a woman who casually brought up Springfield. And the TPS thing came up. Oh, okay. And then she mentioned, oh yeah, my brother's been a landlord in Springfield. Oh, you would not believe the stories. Like, oh, let's try me here. And then he told me, which was something that was not shocking to me, and reminded me of experiences that my Haitian clients and classmates described of what living conditions were typically like in Haitian communities on Hispaniola and in parts of Chile and Brazil. Oh, that's experiences on X, and they begin to pop off and go viral. And of course, in the comments were all of the accusations, all of those words. How dare you possibly believe any of this? Oh, you all the blah, 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 right? And I thought, I need to compile all of these. And then a few weeks later, had a conversation with Satisse Kelly. We were at an event together. And I don't know how exactly Springfield came up. I think I mentioned that my publisher said, Joshua, you should do a book documenting everything. Curate all the stories, do all the on-the-ground checks, everything. Take the people seriously and find what you can find. And then each of you have a story, your own experiences amid the Haitian influx into Springfield. And Satisse shared a couple of hers with me, spoke with family members of hers. And then she introduced me, who introduced me to, who introduced me to, who introduced me to, and I found a vast network of residents, heritage citizens, who felt like, and each of you have, that I've spoken with, you have felt like no one has believed you. That you have been dismissed, you've been derided, you've been humiliated, you've been ridiculed, you've been disbelieved, and you have been, frankly, tormented in many cases with what has been said to you, with what has been done to you. Insult has been added to injury and injury to insult. And of course, we know many of the people of the Springfield NGO administrative complex who are responsible for all of this, frankly. And I thought we would do a little bit of social justice. So in the tie-in with the book, I created some lampooning comics of some of the characters involved in this situation. Parody, of course, is protected by the First Amendment. And that's what's distributed amongst the seating tonight, is based on experiences, directionally accurate hyperbole of the matter, and many people, of course, are sitting cracking up and whatnot reading, because it's like, yeah, that's literally Walmart. Every time I'm there. Or, yeah, hey, that happened in front of my house, I'm hearing. And the story is just so bizarre if you're not familiar and if you don't actually live here. And I will get my literary revenge against Politico, and I will say to him that all of his debunking, it's all been debunked. No, I have debunked it. And so I'm thrilled to be sharing your stories back with you, to validate you, and then everything you said that happened to you, yes, it has. I believe you. And I'm going to do what it takes to enable America to believe you, what's happened here. And as part of that, I blew my whole advance on the first professional and academic poll of Springfield voters. And I wanted to share some of those results with you, which will be no surprise at all to many of you. We have a projector, we have some of that. We could get to that now, we could get to Jack and I next, have a little back and forth. I think it's up to Jack, and of course the people here in Springfield get to share as well. So, Jack, what would we like to do next?
Well, I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. Let's ask the people.
I heard and observed myself was, and I'm going to quote a landlord that's talked about in the book. He said a number of the Haitians, a slim minority, from his understanding, because he's rented to them directly, he said they're all, a slim minority of them have on almost, he described it as an obsessive compulsive cleanliness. It's spick and span and it's perfect and it's like ready for a showing. But the vast majority strip the place with the studs. You know about the toilets and the front yards and on the street, and ripping out cabinets and drawers and turning it inside out and using doors, cupboards to make fires. Like, we don't do that in America. And that has been a recurring issue, much less all the animal antics that we could get into. But I want to quote somebody you know, Representative Phil Plummer over in Montgomery County. He was the first person who spoke at that town hall that night that Vivek and Tiffany were at. And he said, I don't know about, and I don't really care about the cats and the ducks and the geese. I care about what this is costing you guys. The healthcare, the housing, the schools, the traffic safety, groceries, all of the costs, and you didn't vote for any of it, and you have no recourse. You must simply submit and be silent, and that's not right.
Thank you for sharing that, Josh.
Towards you all for being a largely white working class community, of course, a number of Hispanics also. But I saw a cycle that went like this. And it went, you only say that's happening and it's bad because you're racist. Oh, it really is happening? Well, that's good it's happening to you because, like we've established, you're racist. And that cycle over and over and over to demoralize you. The other thing that I noticed is intimidation. And this happened, and I have spoken with, at great length, all of the people who started the rumor. You know what I'm talking about, September 2024. I talked to them. And all of the eyewitnesses, including their evidence, they voluntarily disappeared from the media. They stopped talking, stopped giving out their name. They refused to speak to anyone. Because here's what happened. When journalists from Reuters or the Associated Press or what have you would show up here, or they would call them on the phone, you know what they would do? They would say something to the effect of, so I've heard that you have shared this racist conspiracy theory. Can you give us your name and your place of employment? And we'd like to put your picture in the media. Tell us the story now. You know what they're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. So then, what is the correct response? If you want to keep your job, people lost their jobs over this, they lost businesses over this, they got brigaded with negative reviews on the internet. This was an anti-Springfield crusade, this specific set of stories, and many others. And the result was, you didn't actually see that, did you? Here's your name, and where do you work again? How many kids do you have? This is what they did to you guys. And they would ask about, so where do your kids go to school? And this is the press that's doing this, the national press. And, you know, there's a group here that is called Champion City Hate Watch. Oh, no, there's no hate. Oh, there's no hate. I have that, absolutely. For the bullies, for the intimidators, for those who have harassed you in the mainstream media and have willed you into silence and submission. And I have done my absolute best to simply share with you via my book that you are vindicated. Everything they said that never happened, it's all coming out, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
What would you say, tell all these tired people that have been doxxed and threatened and all that, we're all here because you wrote the book, and we're citizens, you know, that don't feel that we have a single person. I think the whole building down there is corrupt. Your book coming out, what's the light at the end of the tunnel? That the truth's gonna finally be told? That's all great. We all knew we were telling the damn truth all along anyway. What do you think, if anything, is gonna change? Do you think we can polish this city back up and be the champion city again, and move on with our lives comfortably and be the welcoming city that we once were again? Or do you think this is going to be the final match in the tinderbox that just lights it? Because they're happy, they've proven they'll be happy to rule over the ashes, you know. Or do you think that in October, when this comes out and the world finally hears what really happened here, that relief is on the way? And you know, we heard what 2 weeks ago, in 2 weeks, and now of course there's something else they ruled on today or yesterday that says, you know, oh, we can't take the job. Anyway, that's all just political spin as far as I'm concerned. Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel? You have done the most intense research, spent your own money to do the polls that they can't lie. The quickest way to end an argument is to lay a cold hard fact on it. I learned that a long time ago. What do you see in a time span, you know, by April of 2027, are we gonna be okay?
Well, you, my dear beloved people of Springfield, you don't have a government that represents you. You don't really have a police force that takes you seriously. You are 100% correct. I have a special report, and it's an appendix in the book, that you were right. There are in fact two systems of justice. Haitians are given approximately 67% lighter sentence across for the same offenses as the heritage citizens. You're 100% correct about all of it. You know what you do have? You have each other.
Absolutely.
You know you told the truth. You know that they lied about you. And if there's anyone who can rebuild, it is you with your spirit, your kindness for one another. I think about people who have endured a tragedy, who have endured something. What has happened with the influx is it's been a slow walk to disaster that has happened to you. It's avalanched, or rather, it's been a glacier as opposed to an avalanche, although there have been overwhelming moments, crushing moments even. But you are survivors. Think about the first people who lived in Ohio. The first Ohioans, what were they like? They were the pioneers. They were the frontiersmen. They would come, they would do the mass importation of foreign nationals, like Haitians and Somalis. Ohio is the spiritual center of the American identity. Ohio's factories provided the tools that built this country, the weapons that won 2 world wars, the steel that took us into the sky. Ohio's farms fed this country. Ohio's men led this country. Ohio is arguably the centrifuge of the historic American nation. It's still the most traditionally Americana-esque state in terms of scenery, culture, and identity. To break the identity, cohesiveness, and soul of an entire nation requires striking at its heart. Ohio is the economic, cultural, and spiritual heart of America. And the heart of Ohio is Springfield.